Last time I talked about cheaters, individual reasons why people cheat, relationship reasons why people cheat. Today, we're going to talk about environmental, circumstantial, situational reasons why people cheat. You know, of all the reasons, I think these are the ones that we can, to some degree, control, just to some extent, just a little bit. And the reason why I say that is because they're things that we can see much easier and affect. Okay, we can do something about some of them. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about circumstantial reasons why people cheat. Grief, loss. If someone has lost a loved one, it's very possible that the person that is grieving shuts out their partner. Or the person that is supporting the partner that's grieving doesn't know how to handle it and disappoints their partner in the sense that they're not there for them, and they get that rift, they get that miscommunication where they're sort of not really talking, and then they end up in a situation where one of them might cheat, and it could be either one of them. So that is circumstantial, right? It's a circumstance that is occurring for a short time, not for long. Hopefully, the grieving won't go on for years and years and years, right? Some people go on for a year, some people less, some people more, but I always say on average 1 year. That's it. So when you're grieving, I guess the most important thing is to be aware that you should share that grief. And I mentioned that in my previous talk. Another reason why one can actually have a problem with, circumstantial cheating, sexual cheating, is childbirth, infertility, child rearing. All that is a circumstance. It's all making the relationship different because something's going on that is allowing a rift. So childbearing is tough, we know that. Bringing up kids can make couples, partners stray, go apart, and they actually feel lonely because they're putting their children in front of their partner, which is a no-no. As far as I'm concerned, God, couples, children, please understand. God, you and your partner, then your children. I know y'all don't probably agree, but for those that agree, kudos to you. For those that don't, understand that your child is there as a gift, right? They're there for a fleeting second, right? 18 years for some of us and longer for others, but they're there for a fleeting second. And our game plan is to give them, teach them to grow and to be useful, functioning adults in this world, right? Encouraging them along the way, loving them. But they're going to go off and they're going to get married and have their own kids in their own life, and you're going to be left alone with your partner. I have so many friends that, I've had to say to them, listen, you'll lose your guy unless you put him first. Now, of course, he's got to deserve it, right? He's got to be one that is a true loving partner to you. If not, that's another story. But when you're in a beautiful, loving relationship, your kids should come third. God, the two of you, and then your kids. Now, some people say God, the man, the woman, the kids. I don't agree with that. I believe in the eyes of God, we're equal. In the eyes of God, we're equal. But we know on earth it's different, right? Because we don't have the same strength. We don't have the same even IQ or the same emotions or the same patience or the muscles, the height, the weight. All that is different. So we're not equal on earth. But to me, in the eyes of God, we are equal. Now, don't quote me now because I know that in some religions it's not. So, in my personal opinion, doesn't have to be anyone else's, just know that it should be your God the couple and the child or children. So you want to be able to be there for your partner, love through that grief until it's over. And the reason why it's circumstantial is that hopefully it'll be over sooner than later. Fertility problems, like I said, is part of the child bearing. Then we have stress. So when you're under stress, again, that could be because you got a job, a new job, lost a job, right? Again, it's very stressful situations. It also could be because of a midlife crisis. A midlife crisis can be like, who knows what they're going to do when they reach 50, right? 50, 60, and they feel, oh my gosh, I'm missing out on life. And then suddenly they feel that they can do whatever they want to do, buy a new car, travel, and of course, hopefully not, but sometimes they do step out of the marriage or the relationship. So beware of that, okay? Moving, if someone's moving from one town, from one city to from one even house to another, that can be very stressful. And sometimes during the move, it can drive people apart. So you want to make sure that during a move, you're still in touch, you're communicating at all times. Sexual dissatisfaction. I mentioned that before, but this time I'm mentioning it from the angle of a change in your sexual desires, a change in how you guys were making love. So there's suddenly something that happened. Again, let's say erectile dysfunction, let's say menopause occurs, or there's somebody in the relationship that wants to increase the sexual interaction in terms of things happening in the bedroom, right? Elevate the game, elevate the sexual pleasure by doing things that might not be desirable to one partner or the other. So that's situational because sometimes you can fix it, sometimes you can't. So hopefully you can fix it, talk about it, you know. If you need help, get professional help. I always say that. And know that hopefully you'll, overcome that hurdle and you'll be able to have that chance of your partner stepping out minimized. Medical reasons, someone gets sick, someone develops a disease, hopefully that's also temporary because I know that when it's long term, that can have a heavy toll on the relationship. And sometimes people do agree to step out and let their couple or let their partner step out because of their inability to satisfy their partner. Now that's a very, rare occurrence here, but in other countries it does happen a lot. They have some arrangement where they can say, okay, you know what, babe, since I can't satisfy you sexually, please just let me know and be safe. And they have their rules that they make between the two of them that they can agree that she can or he can get pleasure outside. But again, that's tough. Very unique situation. Not many people can agree to that, right? But medical issues can be a reason why they don't even talk about it, or they're so frustrated, the partner's frustrated that they just step out regardless without even mentioning it to the partner. But it's, for me, a major obstacle and something that you can do something about if you get your physicals. All right, y'all, please, that colonoscopy, too many people are dying from colon cancer. Get that checked in your 40s, right? No more 50s. They're now doing it early because of Chadwick Boseman. You can actually do it earlier than 50. So please get that prostate checked for prostate cancer, guys, and for enlarged prostates, and for any urinary symptoms, get that prostate checked. Number one, both the blood test and the finger. Please do not tell me don't do the finger. Whoever is not getting the finger exam is doing a disservice, all right? You are not getting the proper physical. They are not able to evaluate the size without putting that finger up there. Yes, am I being vulgar? No, I'm being helpful. I'm being loving by telling you, please get that prostate check. I'm into blood pressure, yes. You don't want to have a stroke and then it affects your sexual function, so get that checked. Also get that physical. Please, 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 because there's something you can do to prevent it, both men and women. Personal crisis, right? Here I have looking for external validation, external love, or you're feeling down in the dumps and you just go out and you just feel that you are validated outside of the relationship, not internally where you should be. So you step out and you say, you know what, I'm just going to do it because I am in a crisis right now. I need some attention. And your partner, for some reason, you don't want to divulge that with your partner. You want to sort of like keep it to yourself. And again, that's an individual thing, but it can be circumstantial because once that crisis is over, you might get back with your partner, hopefully, right? So again, circumstantial is when you're in a crisis and you feel that you are having that disconnect with your partner. So to avoid that, reconnect again, get some professional help if you have to. I think that your crisis can be pretty serious. I know people go to jail, uh, people do crimes that are on their mind, that are not in jail or they're about to go to jail. We've all heard that in the news. But it is tough. The more serious it is, the more difficult it is to overcome. But you can overcome them if you put your head together and you're in love and he or she is worth it. Okay? Of course, get some professional help if you need to. Situational reasons why people actually step out. First one for me is opportunities present themselves, right? I know that a lot of people are in a situation where women throw themselves at them, right? And men sometimes chase the women too, right? But more often than not, you hear about guys going out and being hunted down, right? So we've got to be careful with that. The man has to have the willpower to say no if they're in a serious relationship or in a marriage. And if they don't, they got to be aware of the consequences, okay? So those opportunities that come, you have to be very careful that they are reduced. So you're not in an area where you are increasing the chances of someone coming up to you and asking for some sex, right? And remember, there are other reasons and other contributing factors. They all can blend the individual, the relationship, and the environmental, but be aware about it because if you are in an environment where it can happen a lot, and I'm going to talk about that under environmental, but if you're in a situation where someone blocks you in the elevator, right, or on the staircase, or somewhere, where you are uncomfortable or you are sort of like secluded, or you have no way to escape and they actually plan that, please be aware that don't take that opportunity because there could be, of course, risks and dangers involved in that, especially if it's not planned and it's unprotected. Please get protected. Please use protection and always get tested too, and make sure it's consensual. Three things I always like to readdress and restate all the time. Okay, so the most important aspect of this opportunity is that it can lead to claims of rape, right? So I've heard many stories where someone gets into a situation and they turn around and say, they were raped. Okay, so guys, be careful. Women, be careful. Do not accuse anybody falsely of any sexual assault unless it's true. File a police report, get some help to handle the situation. Okay. Another situational relationship reason or situational reason to have sexual infidelity is long distance relationships. Okay, so long distance relationships can be twofold. It can be long distance in the sense that the person is out of the city, out of the state, out of the country, right? And that person actually has a infrequent encounter with your partner, or they're gone for a certain number of months or weeks and they're not getting back together to have that sexual encounter, that sexual loving experience that can lead to someone stepping out of the relationship. So try to see your partner frequently. Don't let, I would say, not more than 2 weeks go by without seeing your partner if you can. Of course, I know I have some patients that are out on the rig for months at a time, so it becomes more difficult. But usually on a rig, it's a little bit more secluded, so the chances are less, the opportunity is less. But if you really get into a situation where you're in a long distance relationship, either you fly to them or you have them fly to you, or you go to them or they come to you more frequently to avoid that chance of stepping out of the relationship. Impulsivity, if someone's impulsive and they are, you're going to know that from the get-go. People that are impulsive, you can tell. And if you married someone or if you're in a relationship with someone that's impulsive, please calm down, cool down. Don't let your mind go and wander and keep on going on and on, suspecting that he's stepping out or she's stepping out or they're stepping out. Just make sure that you have an open conversation. You're talking to them and letting them, give you that confidence that they're not doing that and that they're changing and improving their impulsiveness, because a lot of people do not accept or acknowledge that they are impulsive. So be careful. If you're impulsive, bipolar, you've got that decreased attention span, ADHD, watch out, because you need to control that and bring that impulse to have sex down, because as we get older, we become wiser, right? We cannot stay 18 forever. So I'm not saying that 18 people don't have brains. They do, but they're more impulsive because of their hormone levels, right? So as you get older, it comes down. So your impulsivity should be able to be more controlled. And that's what I'm hoping, that you grow and learn, right? Emotional intelligence, EQ, you want to be able to know when you should do something out of your impulse or not. Make sure you learn how to control that. There are ways of training and slowing that down. Of course, getting some help would help. Talk to your doctor or a psychologist or psychiatrist. You also have revenge sex, right? Revenge cheating, right? I don't really encourage that. I've mentioned this before in my last talk, that you feel wronged for something, or you feel that your partner was cheated, so you want to cheat in revenge, or you have some emotional neglect. There is no attention, so you just feel, okay, so since they're not having sex with me, I'm going to go out and have sex with someone else. That is something that I would rather you don't do, because you are going to get into trouble one way or the other. So there's no point doing anything in anger. They always say, calm down before you make any decisions when you're angry. Do not make decisions in anger. Okay? Validation, I guess I've said that before. Receiving a lot of attention from others, and you're not getting from your partner, and so when you go out, they're validating you, and then you decide to step out because that person is showing how important and how loving and how hot you are, right? Be careful. It could be a trap. Okay? So that validation, I always say, partners, make sure you are validating your partner. So those are some of the situational reasons. Now I'm going to go to environmental. The most common one is, of course, the work environment. So your job, you have close emotional ties on your job with someone, a secretary most commonly, or a coworker, or colleague, or a boss. You become too emotionally connected, and then you're like, hey, let's do something. And that's where you've got to draw the line and not cross that line, because you can get into trouble. We've seen it all on the news. We see it on the TV all the time. Crossing that line when you have a partner at home is so unprofessional, and you are at risk of losing your job and your partner. Traveling together, if you travel together on your job, that is a risk to make, again, that emotional connection. Or even if it's just a sexual connection, be careful when you're traveling. Do not cross the line when you're traveling. Again, the job is at risk, especially if it's a job-related travel. If it's a high-level stress job and you are under a lot of stress and the person around you is helping you, you're going to be grateful to the person, and then you're going to sometimes want to step out. Don't. Again, I'm saying control yourself. Stress is something that you should go home to your partner and get that handled with your partner, not take it out in a negative way, but go home, get loving care, get attention, so that that person will be your validator. And I'm really hoping that your validator is your partner, the person that validates you, not a stranger or someone outside the partnership. The peer behavior is another close second, because the peer behavior, your friends, your family, if they are fooling around, it's going to affect you, right? You're going to just suddenly feel, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And they can affect you unbeknownst to you. You won't even realize that this feeling of stepping out is because people are influencing you unconsciously. So try and stick around with people that are not fooling around, family members that are not. And I know being brought up, which is, of course, a social norm. I'm going to go into that in a second. How you're brought up can also make you step out, in terms of family members, especially your father or your parents food around, you might feel that that's normal, but it's not. And I don't like that word normal. Every time I say that word normal, I feel uncomfortable because there is no normal. So growing up in a family, watching your family members step out might influence you, and they might even teach you, you got to step out, guys, right? And that's going to the social norms. So the social norms would be where a family accepts or acknowledges or actually encourages you as a person to step out. And it's usually the guys, right? Not the girls. But the encouragement is because of their upbringing. That's how their parents did it. So they're going to do it for you and encourage you to step out. And I know that that is not fair, right? Because the guys that don't want to, and the guys that do will, and sometimes will overdo it. The actual social norm really should be healthy self-love, healthy sex between two people. And that's where I think we need a lot more work on teaching ourselves, our kids, our family members what healthy sex is, and not encouraging sex that can be detrimental to not only yourself, but people that are loving you around you, family members, especially if you get someone pregnant unintentionally and stuff like that. So beware. I know that, again, baby mamas and having babies out of wedlock is very common these days. I do not support it. I truly believe you should get married before you have kids. You want to have that family unit. You want to have that loving environment for your child to be brought up. Otherwise, I don't believe you should have children. And I know with the way money is right now, people are doing it left, right, and center. But I do think that you are, you know, lowering your standards and you're being sort of like left out of so many benefits that you could get if you were married. And I know truly it's hard to get married, that these guys these days are anti-marriage, right? Because they think we're going to take the bag from them. But I truly believe you can do a prenup, right? Get a prenup and make sure that you're in a relationship and agree to certain things, just so that you can make sure that the guy doesn't feel you're going to gyp him, or you're going to, take him for his money and just marry him for his money and disappear after a few years or even a few months. But understand that that is something that we need to change, because it's been so prevalent in our society right now that we need to make some concerted efforts to stop that train, right? We need to stop guys thinking that we're just doing it for money. And how do we stop it? By actually stopping doing it for money, by actually marrying for love and being honest and being targeted and faithful with your partner in terms of showing love and being loving. And if there's any problems, communicate. Okay? So social norms, you'll find that they're encouraged to cheat. They even think sex is just sex. What is sex? It's just nothing. So their values are sort of like different from those that believe sex is sacred, right? Avoidance culture, people that believe that the values are just, sex is nothing to really think about, just it's nothing important. I think it's very sacred and very important. But some people just feel sex is sex is sex. Dogs do it, bees do it, anyone can do it, right? I think as humans, we are a lot more spiritual and connected, and we're a lot more into the brain and into the physicality, and we know what pleasure can be. So if you're not having great pleasure, that might be an issue. The person doesn't really feel that is important. And I've heard people say that, so what? Who cares if she had an orgasm? Who cares if she enjoyed it or not? And that is so wrong. I get really livid. I get mad with that sort of approach, because we are here. We're humans, hello. And we do have feelings and we do have needs, like y'all do. And I'm not being, differentiating people here right now. I'm just saying in general, either party should have sexual pleasure, all right? And I mean paying attention and finding out more about your partner sexually, okay? So when you're avoiding someone, it's just like you're brought up like that, you feel it's not important. And another reason could be religious reasons, because in your family, they don't believe in sex before marriage. You're supposed to be a virgin. And again, I don't support that. Why? Because I feel that when you do marry a partner, you got to know whether your partner is the one for you or not. And I know you guys are going to come after me for that, but I do not believe going into a marriage or into a relationship, you should be a virgin, because I've seen things happen, horrible things happen in a marriage, and they do not they're not sexually compatible, they don't enjoy sex, and one partner suffers over the other, and most of them do end up in divorce. But yes, I do know that some have been successful. I do know virgins have gone into relationships and they're very happy. Kudos to them. I'm very happy for them. But more people are unhappy than happy. You could do the studies on that. So I remember about the 90-day rule too. That's something that I always smile about. If you like to do the 90-day rule, go ahead. For me, yeah, the guys are stepping out. That's what I hear. I've interviewed them. They all say, yeah, we're doing the 90-day rule. Ha, ha, ha. They're not doing the 90-day rule. They're stepping out. Now, of course, there are those that do, but most don't. Okay? Because guys are guys. They're testosterone through the roof. Remember that. Now, am I asking you to, have sex against your will? No. This is something you've got to talk about, decide if it's the way you want to be. 90 days, no sex. It's up to you. Not sure why you're listening to my conversation if you are, but either way, I want to encourage you. Have a conversation with your partner. If you don't want to have sex, just be aware he might step out. All right, social pressure is very similar to peer pressure and family pressure. So friends and people you see, everyone is having fun and you're not. You go out on a trip and they're just doing things that you might love to do, but because you're in a relationship, you don't. So hey, please keep it that way. Don't let social pressure you into having sex, especially if it's not protected, right? You also have the media influence. So when you are watching all these movies and you enjoy these movies, you'll find that unbeknownst to you, again, unknowingly, you actually are being influenced by the movies. Now, love movies. I'm a moviegoer. I watch a lot of movies. So yes, it does influence me. Yes, it does influence us. But I think we're smarter, right? We are humans. We have the brain, and we do research and we think. So we know it's a movie, and whatever they do in the movie, it's planned. Now, real life can really follow movies. We know that too. But I think that the way they sometimes encourage cheating, it's just a movie thing. So please don't take it to heart. But the younger you are, that you might take it more to heart, right? So the older we are, the more we know, okay, this is just movies. But depending again on your nature, know that do not allow outside influence with a radio. Going to Vegas, right? And having a blast in Vegas, be careful. Of course, you can do that with your partner. If you're single, go for it, have at it. But again, the social media influence can be in so many ways. The music, the vulgar music, which I know y'all love, the younger guys love. Cool as long as you know where to play it, when to play it. Again, not too loud in areas that people might be disturbed. But again, all that music and all that movie influence has got to be tempered down because we know it's all a stage, an act, while real life comes into play and people have feelings and want to develop a deep love for you. But if you have all the other star-studded ideas in your mind and you are not on the earth, down to earth, then you might be jeopardizing your relationship. So please be aware of media influence. Economic independence. They say a lot of women over 50, 60, 70 are doing things, stepping out because they have the money to do it. And I know that the money gives them the means to step out, but I really don't think that's the real reason why they're stepping out, even though, of course, it won't, it's easy. And for guys too, you guys have the money to step out. You have 10 families out there and we have no idea, right? So wrong. You're supposed to be monogamous. And if you're not, be honest that you have 10 families out there. Let the person know so that she can make a, educated decision as to whether to stay with you or not. I'm going to swear there, but the most important question is, does your partner know about the family members that you have out there? So your money, or even those that have no money are doing it, right? They're going out and having these kids with women that you have no idea about, and sometimes even living in their house and coming to your house. Y'all, please don't allow that. That is so disrespectful and so beneath us, okay? Because we're not primitive apes and animals in the jungle. We are able to think. We are able to make decisions that will allow us to live a beautiful, loving life with our partner. But if we are thinking that money can do and buy anything, and that you can do whatever you want to do with money, I'm sorry. I know there are millionaires and billionaires out there, but I think money is not going to give you happiness. It's not going to buy you happiness. You cannot take money to your grave, right? Yeah, it makes life really nice on earth. But I think the main reason we have money is to help us enjoy our relationships and our partners and our families, right? So remember to give, right? I know I'm going off a little bit, but I want you to know that there are great givers, there are stupid givers, and there are takers. Who do you think is the richest in the world? Who do you think makes the most money, the taker or the giver? Right? It's said that the smart giver makes the most money in the world. The taker's next, and of course, the silly or stupid giver is last. So remember, the stupid giver, which we know a lot of them are, right? We tend to give too much, are at the bottom, takers in the middle, but the smart giver is the person that really wins it all because they know when to give, and that's another talk. But right now, remember, finances are to be shared between you and your partner. You're supposed to have a common goal, plans, and retirement together for yourself and your partner. So when you have another person involved and money is being siphoned out, right, by either partner, that is going to give you a big clue as to someone cheating or stepping up because money is missing. That is not accounted for. But please, if you have arrangement where it's a business arrangement where you are in a relationship because of money, hey, it's a different story. You guys need to make your own rules. But for those that are very simply in love and want to have a great relationship, just know that the money can be a reason if they have a lot to step out. You just need to be aware and make sure you do your due diligence to talk about it openly and make sure you have a clear understanding of your finances or your debt so that you both can be very much honest and very trustworthy and truthful to each other at all times, okay? And just increase the chances of having a great relationship, even though nothing's perfect. We're all going to have our obstacles. We're all going to have our hurdles. We're all going to have our sad days. We're going to have our good days. We're going to have our bad days. We're going to have our great days. But remember, it's normal. Now, here I go using that word normal. Remember, it's okay because we're all going to go up and down and up and down and up and down for the rest of our life. We're going to have good days and bad days. I asked my mom, does it ever stop? She's 86. Does it ever stop, this going up and down? She goes, no, baby, it doesn't. So guess what I do? I smile at all the good days and I smile at all the bad days. And I want you to do that too, okay? Because you can get through it. Just hang on, prayers, love, communication. You can win. Okay, guys? All right. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about signs of a cheater. Now, we talked about the individual, the relationship, and the environmental reasons why people can have cheating, ideas. But there are signs that we're not talking about. Signs, actual acts that people do that will make you suspect, darn, this guy's stepping out on me or this girl is stepping out on me. So I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. And I'm going to give you some ideas of how to try and repair a relationship that might have had someone step out once, twice, or more. And we can talk about it and see whether it's possible to repair that relationship. Okay, guys? Or marriage. All right, nice talking to you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.